Welcome to the deep dive. I was really intrigued by this brief we found about how international agricultural organizations are using something called market intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. And I thought we could, do a deep dive today into it. So we'll be looking at how organizations, especially the CGIAR,
hmm
are using this approach for crop breeding and seed system development.
Yeah, the CGIAR, that's the Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research, right?
That's going.
It really is a pretty big change in how we think about this stuff. I mean, for years, the focus has been just on making crops that produce more.
Right. More bang for your buck kind of thing.
Exactly. But now it's about more than just yield. It's also about making sure those high-yielding crops also meet the needs and preferences of the farmers who will be growing them.
And that's where this market intelligence comes in, right? It's about figuring out exactly what those needs and preferences are, kind of like getting into the minds of the farmers.
Exactly. You could think of it as like a tailor-made suit versus a one-size-fits-all approach.
Oh, I like that.
Instead of just developing a generic crop, they're trying to create varieties that are specifically designed for the unique conditions and needs of different farmers.
And this brief really highlights just how detailed they get with this market intelligence. Like, did you know they have a database with over 400 different seed product market segments?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot of segments.
it is. Each one represents a specific group of farmers with unique requirements for their crop varieties.
hmm
So it's not just about, say, developing better maize, right?
Right.
It's about figuring out, okay, what kind of maize do farmers in this specific region need, given their soil type, their climate, what they're using the maize for.
Exactly. And that can vary so much even within a relatively small area.
Yeah.
Take, for example, hybrid maize in East Africa.
Okay.
Some farmers might need early maturing varieties
Right.
to get a quick harvest in a shorter rainy season, but others, maybe in a different microclimate, might need later maturing varieties.
It's so interesting to think about all those factors.
Yeah, it's really quite complex.
It really highlights how impactful this information can be. I mean, imagine having that kind of detailed understanding of your target audience.
Yeah,
I feel like it would revolutionize how you approach any product development, wouldn't it?
absolutely. And that's where this demand-led approach is so powerful. By really understanding those nuances, researchers can create kind of like a blueprint for a new variety,
Hmm.
one that's tailored precisely to the needs of a specific market segment.
So much more strategic than just saying, let's make a better maize.
Right. It's about making the right kind of maize for the people who depend on it most.
Exactly. And it sounds like it's not just about farmers either, right?
No.
They're also gathering information from processors and consumers further down the line.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For example, a processor might need a specific grain size for their milling process, or consumers might have a strong preference for a certain color or flavor of the grain.
I never would have thought about the color of the grain. But yeah, of course, consumers would have preferences there too.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, how do they even gather all this data? It can't just be researchers sitting in labs, right?
Well, they're not.
Like, are they going out in the field and, I don't know, talking to farmers?
Exactly. It's a mix of methods. They use surveys, focus groups, even more experimental approaches like choice experiments where farmers participate in these like simulated markets.
Oh, wow. That's really getting in there and understanding what makes people tick, isn't it?
It is. It's about understanding not just what people want, but why they want it. And that way, researchers can make sure those new crop varieties are actually going to be desirable and meet the demands of the whole market.
It's like a deep dive into the minds of everyone involved in getting that crop from the field to the table. I love it. But all this data gathering on this scale across so many regions and crops, I imagine that's got to have its challenges, right?
Of course, yeah. It's a big undertaking, and the brief really emphasizes the importance of collaboration, doing good analysis of the data, and then using that data quickly and effectively.
I can imagine there are mountains of data to sift through. Having all that data is one thing, but actually knowing what to do with it is a whole other challenge.
Absolutely. And they're really emphasizing that cross-functional teamwork, bringing together folks from all different disciplines, breeders, economists, even social scientists.
It's a real melting pot of expertise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the really interesting thing for me is that they're not just focused on current needs and preferences. Yeah. They're also looking ahead, trying to anticipate what those market segments will look like in the future.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's essential.
Yeah.
It's all about being proactive and forward-thinking, anticipating future needs, so research stays relevant in a world that's constantly changing.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, with climate change and all the other factors at play, I bet predicting what kind of crops farmers will need 10 or 20 years from now, that's got to be a daunting task.
It is, but they're using techniques like trend analysis and scenario planning to try to get ahead of the curve.
Okay.
So, for example, if projections show increasing drought in a certain region, researchers can start breeding for drought-tolerant varieties now.
So that farmers are prepared when those droughts hit. That's smart.
Yeah. It's like they're playing chess, always thinking several moves ahead to ensure food security, even in the face of a changing world.
Love that analogy. And it sounds like they're even getting feedback on those potential future crops, like from the very people who will be using them, right?
Yeah. They call those product concepts. And it's a way to bring farmers and processors and consumers into the process early on to get their feedback and refine the research.
It's like a continuous loop of learning and improvement.
Exactly. You know, this is really remarkable. It seems like they're not just trying to develop better crops. It's like they're trying to develop a better system for how we approach agricultural research as a whole.
I'm with you there. This whole market intelligence thing is really giving us a powerful new lens for looking at the future of food. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to know more about how this focus on market intelligence actually changes the way research is conducted on the ground. Does it affect how researchers do their work?
It absolutely does. And that's what's really exciting to me. It requires a much more collaborative and interdisciplinary approach to research. But before we dive into that,
Hold on. Don't even think about wrapping up. We are just getting to the good part.
but we have been talking for a while now, and I thought maybe it'd be helpful to,
Nope. No time for summaries. We're on a roll. Tell me more about how this research is changing.
All right. You're right. This is where it gets exciting. So, in the past, agricultural research was very siloed. You'd have breeders working on developing new varieties, agronomists over there working on crop management techniques, and economists studying market trends. And they were all pretty much operating independently.
So everyone was focused on their own little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. But this market intelligence approach requires a much more holistic, big picture view. It's about breaking down those silos and getting all those experts from different fields to actually collaborate with each other.
Because to really understand the complex needs of farmers and the market, you need all those pieces to fit together.
Precisely. So now you see more of these interdisciplinary research projects, bringing together breeders, agronomists, economists, social scientists, even marketing experts.
Wow, a real dream team of experts. What kind of impact is all this collaboration having on the research itself?
Well, for one thing, it's leading to more innovative breeding strategies. Instead of just focusing on things like yield or disease resistance, researchers are also looking at things like, the taste, the texture, the nutritional content of the crops.
So they're actually using data on what consumers want to eat.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
It does. And it's not just about, creating tastier food. This approach can also be used to address nutritional challenges.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, in a lot of developing countries, micronutrient deficiencies are a big problem.
Right.
So they can use this market intelligence to figure out, okay, which crops are the best sources of those essential vitamins and minerals.
Right.
And then they can work with farmers to encourage them to grow those crops. And that could have a huge impact on the health and well-being of whole communities.
That's amazing. It's like this one approach has the potential to address so many different challenges, not just increasing food production, but also making that food more nutritious, more accessible to people who really need it.
Absolutely. And, we can't forget about climate change.
Right.
We were talking earlier about breeding for climate-resilient crops. And this interdisciplinary approach is really important there, too. But it goes beyond just the crops themselves.
You mean it's about how those crops are grown as well?
Yeah. By working together with agronomists and other experts, researchers can develop more sustainable farming practices, ones that are going to be more resilient in the face of a changing climate. And they can also, look at consumer preferences, see if there's demand for food that's produced more sustainably, and help create a market for those products.
So it's like a win-win. Consumers get the food they want, and farmers get support in adopting practices that are better for the environment in the long run.
Exactly. And, all this market intelligence, it's also really crucial for strengthening what we call seed systems.
Seed systems, what are those?
Well, think of it as the network that gets those high-quality seeds of those improved varieties we've been talking about, into the hands of farmers.
Oh, okay.
If the seed system isn't working well, then the farmers can't get the seeds they need, and all that research and effort is basically wasted.
It's like a broken link in the chain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're using this market intelligence to map out those seed systems, figure out where the bottlenecks are, and how they can make those systems more efficient. They're also looking at things like, what kinds of seeds are farmers looking for? How do they want to get those seeds? So they can make sure that the right seeds are getting to the right people in the way that works best for them.
This is really incredible. It's like this market intelligence thing is touching every single aspect of agricultural research, making it more targeted, more efficient, more responsive to the needs of both farmers and consumers.
It really is transformative. There are challenges, of course, like with anything new, but the potential benefits, they're just huge.
Well, this has been an absolutely fascinating deep dive. Thanks so much for taking the time to break all this down for us.
My pleasure. It's always great to talk about this stuff.
And for everyone listening out there, we hope you learned something new today. Think about the crops you eat and where they come from. What kind of market intelligence might have gone into developing those varieties? It's a really interesting thing to consider. Until next time, happy learning.